Idiot Radio, taking it to the edge and back. Scotty, Scotty,
I'll take Scotty.
All right, you're listening to Scotty Presents. This is idiotradio.net. I'm your host, Scott Israel, and Todd DeFazio is our producer. What's up, Todd? He waved. And today our special guest is Amanda Averell. She's a comedian, a writer, an improv actress. What is up, Amanda?
What's going on?
Same old thing over here, just another Sunday fun day at the bar. What do you think of this catastrophe? Is this not a fun place?
I think that this is a beautiful disaster.
Right?
Yes, yeah. I very much enjoy it. I like it. I enjoy that there are children downstairs playing pool while their parents are drinking.
Yeah, classic America.
It is. It is very Western Pennsylvania for sure.
For sure, definitely. So how was your day? Are you taking advantage of this absurdly hot weather and all the sun?
I definitely am going out, getting that vitamin D, no pun intended. Hanging out at the pool with some of my fellow improvisers. Had a nice little cookout. Had a good time. Had a good day.
Sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Yeah, it's fun to just be a person sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
Like, sometimes you get yourself so wrapped up in comedy and going to mics and things like that.
Constantly performing. Yeah,
people forget that you have to live and have experiences to have something to talk about. So,
sure.
Like today I went to Sam's Club with my mom and my nephew, which was rather uneventful. And then, I went and I saw my baby niece, who's almost 2 months old, and then hung out with some friends at a pool and got thoroughly sunburned. So
it's easy. It's easy. Well, I don't know. If you're, are you sunburn prone?
I'm usually not. Like, I have my zones. Like, my zones are my nose because it's very big.
Right.
And my shoulders. Those are the two sunburn zones that I get. Everything else is usually groovy. Like, everything else is fine. It doesn't get burnt. But those two get burnt to a crisp, which is very unfortunate.
For sure.
Yeah, especially whenever you have a prominent nose. Like, I feel like I've got a very prominent nose.
Okay.
Genetically, my family has predominant noses.
Yeah.
And I am blessed with one of those, and it gets a little Rudolph looking. I mean, Christmas in July sale going on.
So, Amanda, how long would you say you're primarily a comedian, primarily a writer, kind of an actress?
I mean,
what order would you put it in?
I would say stand-up. Well, I would say stand-up comes first.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't, perform stand-up without some amount of writing.
Sure.
Or sketch without some form of writing. So I would say stand-up first and foremost, and then like the improv and sketch kind of fall below that.
Awesome. I know you've been doing the comedian thing for a while now. How long has it been exactly?
I think it'll be 4 years in August.
All right.
So it's been a minute, I guess. I don't know. I've done a lot in 4 years.
Yeah.
I feel like these past 4 years have been kind of.
I feel like you've done
crazy.
A lot in 4 years for sure. You're all over everything in Pittsburgh.
You got to put yourself out there.
Yeah,
I guess,
no,
right?
absolutely. And like, where did it all start?
Did
you always want to be a comedian?
I always wanted to do comedy.
Yeah.
Like, whenever I was younger, I was in like second grade, and we didn't have cable at my house.
Yeah.
But I would sneak and watch the TV show In Living Color, which my dad found.
I love that show. That was
fantastic
a lot of fun.
show. My dad found it to be inappropriate.
Sure, I could see that.
And but I would sneak downstairs to like watch it.
How old were you? That was on a long time ago.
I was in second grade.
Yeah,
I'm
all right.
old.
So you did
old.
say.
I'm older than what
Well,
I
you're an
look.
adult. You're not old. It's not, if you're in your 30s, you're not old. You're just not a child anymore, which is something people in their 20s don't seem to understand. That's all right.
But yeah, like I got really into In Living Color, and I was like, oh, that was real fun. And then as I got older, and like I became like in like 7th grade, I started writing like screenplays and sketches, and I throughout the time, like I got into SNL in between those 2 time periods, and I was like, holy shit, this could be a job. Like you can do this. Like people do this. They get paid to do this, and then life happens, and then. Right before I turned 29, I was out with my one friend. We went to this bar that is now had defunct open mic. It was an Eclipse. Went there twice, and then on the 3rd time, I was like, I called my friend up. I was like, we're either playing trivia tonight or I'm going to try this stand-up thing. Yeah. She's like, we're going to do stand-up because you're funnier than half those dudes we saw last week, because it was all dudes. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take your advice. Yeah. And we went, and I liked it so much. Not only did I go up and do it after 5 mojitos at Eclipse, I was like, I loved it so much. I did it again that same night, walked 5 blocks down to Hambones and walked in. And it was weird because I knew Derek from like a decade earlier.
How did you know him from a decade earlier?
My friend introduced us. He was like a friend of a friend, and we hung out, but there was no like Facebook or MySpace, and neither of us had cell phones. We were 19.
You ever get nostalgic about pre-Facebook? I do. I'm sorry. I just kind of
that would be pre-Facebook would be lovely.
Right.
I just cleaned up my Facebook friends list, and it was weird because then today I saw somebody like re-requested me, and I'm like, oh. Feel bad because we don't have that same sentiment, but whatever. But yeah, like I saw his name, and then like we struck up conversation. I had him add me to the list, and it was late, and he usually doesn't add people to the list late. Right. But like we struck up conversation and like reminisced and whatever, and caught up, and had 3 whiskey drinks, and then I went and performed twice in one night. The first night I ever did stand-up comedy.
Oh wow, that's pretty brave. And how'd it go? Did you do well that night? The first night? Well enough? Yeah. I mean,
I felt like I did well enough to go and put myself through it a second time. Right. So that's all that matters. I became instantly addicted to it because my initial thought was, it's like, okay, you've wanted to do this forever. Right. What's the worst that can happen? You hate it. You never do it again. At least you tried.
Yeah. Can't kill you.
Yeah. And that's been kind of my thing since.
Comedy and Derek ever since, huh?
Comedy. Derek's around, but comedy's the thing.
All right. So you mentioned when the first time that you went up at Eclipse that you were the only woman.
I think I might have been. I don't remember. The weeks before, I didn't remember seeing any women at that open mic.
Well, I mean, one way or the other, few and far between. Maybe there was another woman there.
Maybe, yeah. So, it's a real small number. There are 2 comics I remember who were there. Okay. Well, 3 technically. Okay. Solomon hosted that open mic.
Oh man.
Yeah. And Aaron Kleiber went up once.
Oh yeah, okay.
And James J. Hamilton.
Yeah.
And like, to be honest, like I was enthralled by James because he did like his president's bit, and then I think he even did his vice president bit that he has.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, this is amazing. So like that was my introduction to Pittsburgh comedy, which are 2 very different styles.
Yeah, but a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So what is it like to be one of the only women in your profession, in your field?
I mean, I'm all about inclusivity. Yeah. I've always viewed myself as like one of the boys. Yeah. Like I'm just. People are people. Yeah. And that's just how I kind of view it and view everything. Like, I can go and hang out with a bunch of dudes or with a bunch of chicks. Yeah. It's just, it is what it is. I wish there were more differing viewpoints in the Pittsburgh stand-up scene and in the Pittsburgh improv scene as well. Sure. In the improv scene, there is a higher saturation of women as compared to the stand-up scene. Yeah. Same with the sketch comedy scene. I feel that there's a higher saturation as well.
Why do you think that is?
I feel that it is that way because there's more support in doing improv and sketch than there is in stand-up, because with stand-up you're up there by yourself.
Sure.
With improv you have a whole team, or with sketch you have a whole team.
Yeah.
And that kind of cooperative dynamic and like creating in a community within a community,
Sure.
Helps build confidence and build esteem to really like help push people to do it. And I feel like there's more representation in those fields. So I feel like if a woman is watching it for like the first time and then becomes inclined to do it,
All right, yeah.
if there's more representation, you're more inclined.
She feels more included from the outset.
I feel like it's that way, and it's kind of a shame that like there aren't more. It's kind of a shame that there isn't more representation across the board, and I'm not just speaking across like just genders, but like with everything.
Sure.
So that way we do have more inclusivity and more differing viewpoints. I'd love for there to be a more diverse scene, because all it can do is like, I'm a big believer of like there's room for everyone at the table.
Sure.
So, like, all that it can do is just create people who work better, work harder, and who are funnier.
Yeah.
And especially with there being so many differing viewpoints, it's great to hear those different views and opinions.
I agree, for sure. All right, Todd, you ready for our first commercial break?
For all your heating and cooling needs, service, and installation, contact our friends at Complete Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning. 412-513-3001. Doesn't your family deserve complete comfort?
Looking for a DJ for your next party, corporate event, wedding, or special occasion? Contact Rich Who Entertainment, the official DJ of Idiot Radio. For a free quote and information, give them a call at 412-266-1266. That's 412-266-1266. Rich Who Entertainment, DJs for all occasions.
You're listening to Idiot Radio, taking it to the edge and back.
Looking for a creative idea for meetings, business lunches, and special events? Call Spiels on Wheels, Food Truck and Catering, and take the stress away. For more information, call them at 724-244-9881 or on Facebook at facebook.com/spielson.wheels.
You're listening to Scotty Presents. I'm your host, Scott Israel. You're listening to idiotradio.net, and our special guest today is Amanda Averell. What's up, Amanda?
Hey.
All right, so we were talking about what it was like starting off in comedy. Let's dive into improv. You are a part of some improv troupes in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I perform as like an independent performer, and like people throw me on certain improv shows, but my main bread and butter is doing short form improv with the arcade comedy theater house team Game Shark.
Game Shark.
Yeah, they're a short form improv team, which is a lot like the television show Whose Line Is It Anyway? You see improvisers perform short form improv games that are a few minutes long, and they're all different, and there's like no real connection between them, and there's like different things that we have to do in each game. That's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun doing improv.
That's cool. I mean, break it down a little bit. What kind of little thing here and little thing there? I mean,
we do.
For people who don't know what short form is.
Well, for short form improv is improvisation is something that was created by Viola Spolin, and it was a child theater type exercise. Yeah. And so you can tell that I also teach improv and coach improv because I'm going way back.
Do you? Do you teach at arcade?
I don't teach at arcade, but I do coach independent teams and stuff like that. And okay. I taught last summer. I taught a program for children, improv at a community center.
What kind of ages?
Ages 9 to 13.
Okay, so what was that like?
It was interesting. Some kids think they were too cool for it, and then some kids were like. It was interesting to see, like, this. There was this one kid who was kind of cocky. Yeah. He's like, and like, we just talked about stuff. He's like, well, I'm a director. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to directors inform their actors about acting. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, this is acting.
Right.
So you should, get more involved with it. And then, like, we were doing this thing, and I was like, we were just playing a game, and it's like, literally, you could say anything.
Yeah.
Anything at all. And he's like, well, wait, what do you mean? And I'm like, no, that's a thing you could say.
Yeah.
You just can say anything. Just make one solid statement. And it just, like, blew his mind that he could say something that wasn't rehearsed.
Right.
Or predetermined, because there are a lot of kids who are run on like such rigid schedules, like and regimented schedules by their parents, to think like, wait a second, I have free thought and I can say whatever I want.
Right.
And then so that was interesting. And then I coached some teams and stuff like that too. But short form improv, back to the point, is improvisational games.
Yeah.
And they're all separately done. Most of them run anywhere between I'll say 2 minutes to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's different tropes in certain games. Like there's a style of game called a line game, which is generally where something is set up to make a stupid pun. Like there's the one line game, it's called Sex With Me.
Okay.
And then we get a get from the audience, which is a suggestion.
Yeah.
And then we just tell the audience how sex with me is like that object. Like, for example, sex with me is like a banana. It has a peel. See how terrible that pun was?
Yeah.
Your whole listening audience just shut off from there.
That's all right. Don't worry about them.
And then there's other ones where we have to do physical different things, or we play different characters and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun.
It sounds like fun.
I have a lot of fun doing it.
So what was the motivation behind starting up doing improv?
I never thought that I could do improv. I'd been a fan of it for years. I watched the British version of Whose Line Is It Anyway? I watched a lot of different sketch and improv performers for years, and
you thought it was too complex, too complicated?
I was just like, I don't know if I'm quick enough or funny enough or smart enough. And here's the deal: you don't have to be any of those things to do improv. You really don't. Huh. It helps if you're smart, because then you have more to work with.
Sure.
But it didn't really matter, because it's just acting on impulse and listening and responding. Yeah. And that's the basic key to improv, is just listen and respond organically, and then it just kind of goes from there. So I started that a few months after I started doing stand-up.
Was the motivation connected to the stand-up? Did you go in thinking this is going to help me with my presence on stage as a stand-up, or I just want to play and have fun with improv?
It was almost the same reasoning for going and doing stand-up the first time. It's well, if I try it and I don't like it, then I tried. Yeah. At least I did it. And of course, the first day in, some people say improv is a cult. I very much bought into that idea and drank that Kool-Aid. That is for sure. Yeah. So I've been doing that ever since too. So I think I started that in October of 2014. So wow. That's almost at the 4-year kind of anniversary mark too, which is fun. I've done, both stand-up comedy festivals. In fact, I'm going to one in Milwaukee at the end of July, and I've done improv comedy festivals, traveled for them and stuff. It's been a great time doing comedy for sure. All right,
how do you end up on those festivals? You send them tapes?
Just submit. Yeah. Submit. That's all that you do. For improv, submitted to the Second Best Fest in Richmond, Virginia. Yeah. Last year, my team got onto that. We also got onto Pittsburgh Comedy Festival last year. We're waiting to hear back from a bunch of different festivals for this year. That's cool. Then for stand-up, did the Pittsburgh Comedy Festival last year, did the Burning Bridges Festival the last 3 years, and then now I'm going to be doing the Milwaukee Comedy Festival at the end of the month, which is real cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's my first out-of-town stand-up festival, so
I
have all right. I've performed out of town before,
sure,
and toured around just a little bit, just doing shows.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call it a tour, but it's doing shows in different cities, right?
Yeah.
But this is the first festival I got into that's not a local one, and I'm kind of
a little nervous.
I'm a little nervous, but more solidified.
Right.
It's okay. oh, this is real now because
like
I did a thing and I can do this thing well enough and other people know I'm okay.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, which was it's really kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any stories from a festival that stand out in your head?
And honestly, not really. Nothing that was like too crazy.
All right.
Nothing like festival wise that was crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. Well, all right. Let's do this. Just how about stand up? Like best night, worst night. Like there are nights where I've done stand up and I couldn't believe how well everything went, and I feel amazing. And it's like, yeah. And then other times it's like, why? How and why do I punish myself in this way? So did you have a best stand-up story? I mean, yeah, a lot of them are going to equal out to even, but when it really sticks out?
So most recently, so it's very difficult to get my family to come out to shows.
Sure.
It's very difficult.
Did they live around here?
They do.
All right.
It's just
they
very
just don't want to come out or don't have the time? Or
don't have the time. It's downtown.
Yeah,
It's,
sure.
Yeah.
Just don't want to leave the comfort of their own home.
Pretty much.
All right.
But recently, it was in early June, actually. I was doing a show at Arcade.
Yeah.
And not only did my mom had seen me do stand-up one other time before and do improv one time before.
Yeah.
So this was a stand-up show that night. So not only did my mother go,
Uh-huh.
but her husband came.
Okay.
And my uncle and, his wife, my aunt, came. So they were all there. And, I was like, okay. And then I saw them, and I briefly panicked because I had added some material to my set that was suggestive.
Sure.
And it also involved my family. So that was funny. So I was like, okay, well, am I going to talk about this masturbation stuff in front of my mom? All right, let's do this. And
really?
I did.
You did it?
Well, I did. And
I mean, because that's a lot. I don't know if I don't know if I could say half of my jokes in front of my family.
Well, the one joke that I close on a lot.
Yeah.
That I've had forever because it's literally been a running joke of mine since I was 18. That's just the proof I was meant to do this.
All right.
Is about my mom. And I say, it was about my mom and her response to me getting a specific tattoo.
All right.
And I always close on that. And the first time she heard that, she was like, all right. She was okay with it.
Yeah.
But it was not only doing that and then doing the other material and in front of everybody else, but then afterward, my stepdad came up to me and he hugged me and he was like, you were really, really good. And I'm like, oh, so now they realize this is a thing.
Yeah.
It was that, and it was my first the first time that anything had been written. City Paper did an interview with a bunch of female comics.
Yeah.
About being a woman in comedy.
Sure.
In the city of Pittsburgh, and that was also a good moment too for me because my mom showed it to all the people who I used to work with and kind of rubbed it in their face. It's look at what Amanda's doing.
Right, go looking for her. That's
look
fun.
at you. You're still in this office after 15 years. Look what Amanda's doing. And my grandma was real excited because she'll never come to a show.
Yeah.
Because that's just not her.
Yeah.
She's 80. She has no need to go out
Yeah.
to downtown Pittsburgh at
10
o'clock on a Saturday night. She's in bed by that time.
Yeah, she didn't want to go out drinking?
Hell no.
No,
she's not that kind of lady. But that was the thing. She showed all her friends, and I was like, oh, okay, now they're finally realizing that this thing I've done for 4 years is real, and I'm not just jerking off. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's good to get
I still jerk off, but that's a different thing.
Acceptance from your family for what you're aspiring to do. That's nice.
It's really interesting because I never assumed I would get that kind of a response,
sure.
but I have it, and now it's okay. So what other foot is going to drop to make this happen? It's the family supports me now. What's going to be the tragedy next that the comedy has to come from?
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah.
Well, just living in that perpetual state of fear.
Sure. So what? All right, let's go that way. Inspiration for jokes, writing.
I just sometimes it's a lot of it's life experience for me.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in that you either have to be very well read or very experienced to have like that kind of knowledge and repertoire to pull from to have something to talk about.
Sure.
Like the most interesting people to talk to are the ones who are well read and well traveled. And experience life, you know?
Yeah.
So I get a lot of what I do from life experience, and then a lot of it's just weird thoughts in the back of my head.
Yeah.
And they just come out at whatever point they want to come out, and then I write them down. I use my phone. I text it. Whatever. So that way I don't forget it.
Right. Don't you hate when you think of a good joke and then forget it?
Or if you like had it in a dream and then you wake up and then it just like slowly slips away before you can get to your phone. Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah.
It's there's this and then there's just some stuff that just happens in life. Like somebody says something to you and it's like, nope, that's in a joke now because you made that mistake. You made that mistake in front of the wrong person.
They didn't know who they were talking to.
Nope, exactly.
Well, that's great.
Oh man. Yeah, so that's how like the writing stuff kind of goes for stand-up anyway. For sketch, it's also like inspiration-based too. Like if I have an idea for a sketch, like it usually twiddles around in my head for a minute before I like put it to paper and then frame it and get it all written out and then eventually perform it or tape it or whatever I need to do.
Yeah, are you recording sketches? Are you performing pre-written sketches live?
My sketch team is called Persons of Disinterest. It's myself, Josie Norton, and Nicole Havernick. It's so 3 ladies. Ooh. Doing sketch comedy. We had a set of shows back in April. Then hopefully we'll do some more work together. This was the first time they had done any video sketches.
Okay.
We had done 2 video sketches for that show that went really well.
That's awesome. Gotta love when it comes together.
Yeah. And like those, we have those available online. You can check out my YouTube channel. They're up on YouTube. I've got a bunch of other sketches that I've worked on independently that are also on my YouTube channel as well.
What is your YouTube channel?
It's really complicated.
Okay.
It's youtube.com/Amanda Averell.
All right.
Which is actually really difficult because nobody can spell my last name right. So it's totally fine.
Yeah. Wait, is it with 1 L? It's 2 L's, right?
It's 2 L's.
2 L's, yeah. Is that the hard part for everybody?
No, everything is the hard part.
Really? All right.
Yeah. It's Averell.
Yeah.
And like whenever I'm at a bar, I can't help but to sign it. And like and it reads really well on a podcast. But guys, I just did sign language. But like I can't help but like to sign it because like it's just like the natural thing for me.
Okay.
And then I've started telling people it's like Dave without the D and then roll. Like a weird type of egg roll. But it's an Averell. And that's it. That's all that it is because it's I don't like it. I don't like the name anyway. It's my dad's. I'm not a fan, so I'm just kind of stuck with it.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Well, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
All right. You wanna do here's a commercial.
Looking for a creative idea for meetings, business lunches, and special events? Call Spiels on Wheels, food truck and catering, and take the stress away. For more information, call them at 724-244-9881 or on Facebook at facebook.com/spielson.wheels.
You're listening to Idiot Radio, taking it to the edge and back.
Looking for a DJ for your next party, corporate event, wedding, or special occasion? Contact Rich Who Entertainment, the official DJ of Idiot Radio. For free quote and information, give them a call at 412-266-1266. That's 412-266-1266. Rich Who Entertainment, DJs for all occasions.
For all your heating and cooling needs, service, and installation, contact our friends at Complete Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning. 412-513-3001. Doesn't your family deserve complete comfort?
All right, you're listening to Scotty Presents. This is on idiotradio.net. I'm your host, Scott Israel, and my special guest today is Amanda Averell. She's a comedian, a writer, an actress. What's up, Amanda?
Hey!
So I want to listen. Winnie the Pooh is one of my all-time childhood favorite characters. I love it. The fond memories as a child reading Winnie the Pooh, but you do this great thing in one of your jokes where you describe just walking around in your private home just with a shirt and nothing else on, and reference Winnie there, and I never think of him as being half naked ever, and it just the first time I heard it, I just immediately just burst out laughing because it's such a strange juxtaposition between the childhood reference and sex.
Well, so let me break it and make it even worse for you.
Awesome.
Donald Duck.
Yeah.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
For sure.
They're all tops, no bottoms.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mickey is all bottoms, no tops.
That's weird.
I mean, and I think that it's Mickey Mouse's fault that the internet allows male nipples and not lady nipples, because you don't see Minnie's nipples anywhere. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Actually, to speak on that point,
yeah.
There is... Okay, this is a weird random fact that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Janet Jackson has a tattoo of Mickey and Minnie doing some type of a sexual activity. And I'm not going to name what it is, so you guys can Google it yourself.
Yeah.
Go ahead and find it. So that just made everybody, that just ruined everybody's childhood. And if you really want to think about it, like Bugs Bunny, Donald Duck, they're all naked.
Yeah.
Like they're just out and proud. That's all it is. No, like I'd been doing that joke for a while.
No.
And then there was a movie that also made a very similar reference.
Yeah.
And I was very upset at first because I was like, oh, man, now I'm going to have to stop telling that joke. Because it's just a little tiny part of a joke that I have.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the whole thing.
Sure.
And, I'm like, oh, man, now I'm going to have to stop doing that. And then I realized, I was like, who cares?
Yeah. No.
There's
no reason to stop.
I'd been doing it months before that movie came out, so it doesn't really matter. It's like, people heard it. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I can write better things. But, yeah, just to ruin. Let me see. What other characters can I ruin for you? Pluto's naked, but that's the weird part.
Dog, though.
Yeah, but so's Goofy. Goofy's a dog, too, but they treat Goofy with a lot different respect than they treat Pluto, don't they?
That's because
That's
Goofy wears clothes and walks around exclusively on his hind legs.
So you're telling me that if Pluto were to just put on clothes, that would be enough, or would he also need to?
No,
is it 4 legs bad, 2 legs good? Are we going to go George Orwell on this?
Yeah,
is that
totally,
what's going on?
Totally. He's got to wear the clothes and stand up and walk around and talk.
I mean, that would be really interesting. I would imagine the shitty conversations Pluto would have with Mickey.
yeah, and bad breath. Just like I'm hungry, and his breathing bad breath on you.
There's the other weird part about those cartoons, now that I'm thinking about it more, because now I'm stuck in this world. If you think about Daisy Duck and Minnie Mouse, they have these weird bloomers on under their dress.
Yeah.
They're just weird to me.
It is weird.
Because we're seeing their underpants.
Yeah.
Now, does Mickey have a bloomer underneath his pants, or is he just free balling? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Do those characters have underwear? Clearly, if they do, not everybody's using it. Think about that.
Yeah, it would be weird to draw the underwear on, because then you got to just draw the pants right over top. So.
Yeah, I know, but don't. But this is the thing. Whenever you're acting or doing improv or anything like that, you want to think about your character.
Sure.
What would they do? What are their emotions? What are their emotions? What would they wear? How would they speak? Things like that. So it comes down to, it's okay, is this character you're playing one who wears briefs, tighty whities, boxers, or nothing at all? You got to think about that weird stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Is that just how they are? I don't know. I like to think about those kinds of weird things way too much. I get way too deep into it, and it's not cool.
I don't know. It sounds fun to me.
I also think about it with superheroes too. You think superheroes wear underwear? Tony Stark wears a full. I don't think Tony Stark wears underwear, but he has a full suit on before going into the Iron Man suit. So I mean,
well, he's rich. He's got to make sure he looks good coming out of it.
Yeah,
but I would hope
he looks good no matter what.
Right?
All 4 Avengers, all 4 of the main Avengers, totally bonable. I would bone all 4 of them. That's not. But I also wonder if they wear underpants. The Hulk does not.
Yeah.
The Hulk does not wear underpants.
Definitely
there's no way.
not,
If he does wear them,
they got ripped.
He does. If Bruce Banner, personality type wise, seems like a guy who wears them.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't wear underwear? Right?
I'm not You know, sometimes you gotta sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Depends on the kind of day. Depends on the kind of outfit. If you're a lady and you're wearing no underwear and it's like a dress, it's like, oh, you're gonna have a very exhilarating type of day, aren't you? I don't know.
It's like a weird bus ride.
I don't know, Scott. Do you wear underpants?
Yeah.
What are you? Boxer, brief, tighty? Or are you like a boxer brief guy?
Yeah,
or are
I'm
you
a
the
boxer
hybrid?
brief guy. It's a hybrid.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? They're the healthiest for men, so
Yeah.
I'm a health conscious guy, sort of.
Why are the boxers not healthy?
No support.
No support?
No support.
And then the briefs are too much
Too
support.
much support, yeah.
So you got to do the boxer brief,
Yeah,
which is
get a
just
middle
the
ground.
hybrid support.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not running away from you, but they're not pushed up against you either.
Yeah, I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the recommended dose of support is for a lady.
Well, I mean, do you need any support
I
down
don't-
there?
I don't-
mean, all the support needs are up top for the women, right?
Well, no. I mean, that's true. I mean, our support needs in the nether area are internal, though.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, I mean, there's not really like a, you know, an ove isn't just going to come squirting out anytime.
I really hope not.
That'd be
that
really
would be
terrible.
that would probably be a medical
Could you imagine
emergency.
having sex with someone and then like their like whatever kind of suction you created just
Yeah.
causes not only their uterus but their ovary to shoot out? Like
Yeah.
that would be terrifying.
It would be that would be the last time I ever had sex. That would be the end of it.
That
And
would be
people
it.
that would be it. People would be like, "Well, why don't you do it anymore?" And I'd be like, "All right, I'm going to tell you this story." And then afterward, they would be like, "Oh my God, that happened to you?" I'm like, no, it happened to her, but I was in the room and it was bad. You know?
You were just watching. You were just being a cuck. It was like, I saw this happen. I'm glad I wasn't participating.
Well, no, I was participating, but it still wouldn't be something that happened to me, right?
Very, very true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Oh, that's so
right.
so weird.
So, all right, I've got a two-part superhero question for you since we brought it down this way.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite superhero? And if so, do you ever fantasize about them without any underwear on?
I do not do that.
Okay.
I don't do the second part of that. And
All
I
right.
don't know if I have like a specific favorite. I really like out of like so I'm not as well read in comic books as I wish I was.
Yeah, but there's lots of movies. You know a bunch of different.
There's this one comic book series that I really like. It's called Paper Girls.
Okay.
And it's like Stranger Things but with girls, and it's just really, and it's really well written. It's really good. I'm a big fan of like reading that one.
Yeah.
And like I read the Marvel stuff more so than DC. I think I just gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
Movie wise, I really like Guardians.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Guardians of the
Guardians is
Galaxy.
fun.
But I also like very much enjoy Deadpool. I'm
Yeah.
not. The only superhero movies that I've run into that I haven't liked have been the recent run of DC movies, Wonder Woman excluded.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean,
yeah, Wonder Woman was a lot of fun. I went and saw that with my grandma. That was good.
Wonder Woman was good.
Yeah.
I was really Justice League just ate a dick.
Did it?
Oh, it was just so long and obnoxious and boring. And I just like there are just certain things that like, I don't know. I don't know what DC's trying to do.
Yeah.
And like I saw, what was it? Oh, God, what was it called? Suicide Squad. I saw that.
Oh, yeah, sure. What'd you think of that?
That was garbage too. Like it was all right. Like it had its moments. Like every film has its moments.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like I really don't like Jared Leto as a person because of certain things.
Oh,
and
wait, what did he do?
Oh, you got to read the internet for that.
I
don't
know,
want to talk about
Say something. You brought it up. Say one thing that he
has
did
done.
that was
He
bad.
has done inappropriate and explicit and illegal things. There's rumor of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is that all you want to say? That's fine. You don't have to
that's
say
fine because I don't want to
That's-
get into a whole.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
don't wanna get
you
into
could
a whole
if you
thing.
wanted to, but.
I don't want to get into a whole thing about it, but
Okay.
he's just one of those dudes that you put on that list of it's like.
Oh my God! I
Like,
didn't know that
oh,
about him. I thought he was just like one of the more like stable. No, not stable. Regular. No, just a creep.
Yeah, he's a creep. Yeah, he's a creep. That's that. Can we just say creep is a good.
We can leave it there.
That
That's
is a
fine with me.
good cherry picked term for that.
That's a shame, you know.
Well, I mean, again, like it's stuff that you have to like. You don't know unless you read about it.
Right. It wasn't
online.
shoved down our throats like the Jello Pop guy. What's his name?
Yeah, exactly.
Dr. Huxtable.
The Jello Pop guy.
Yeah.
Because
That's how my brain works. It would take me 20 minutes to narrow it down to his name. Dr. Huxtable.
Oh my God. See, and that the other part of it too is that with like the Leto stuff, it's on the music side that he does. It's not on the film side, supposedly.
So how do you feel about, you're a woman trying to, you're part of the entertainment industry. Have you ever run into that in Pittsburgh? I would hope not. Everybody around seems pretty okay.
I mean, you hear rumors about different stuff happening.
Yeah.
And, some rumors are substantiated, some are not.
Right.
Just to put it out there, like there are creeps everywhere.
Well, sure.
It doesn't it's not exclusive. You don't to an industry.
You don't feel
the problem
it's
is
more
the power
dangerous
structure.
in the entertainment industry? I mean,
I think the problem is the power structure.
Yeah, sure.
Like it's the fact that there's not a larger diversity of people in those roles of power. Yeah. Because it goes back to the phrase like power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Sure. It's like, and there have been studies done on this. I listened to a podcast earlier today about this, and like that was the interesting thing. Yeah. Like there are many studies that show like if a man is in a powerful position, that the odds of him acting like extended, like touching people for too long of a period of time, like even if it's like a shoulder pad or whatever, like those things happen because they have more power and they feel like that they can do those things,
or that they're entitled
to do it, and that men who are in those more powerful roles tend to sexualize their work even, and it's
the work itself.
Well, they're coworkers.
Really? Oh, okay, yeah, coworkers.
I mean, they said the way that it was worded on the podcast, I can't remember exactly, but. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that part of it is that power structure of like, if like we need to change it, and I think that change is coming. Okay. I hope so.
Well, what kind of change? Just more women up top, or
more? More of everybody who's
just more diversity in management.
More diversity, but not only that, but like more. I would hope that it's just more good people.
Yeah, well,
because I'm
that'd
not gonna
be nice,
I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's all these straight white men. I know a lot of really good, nice straight white men.
Yeah, sure.
Who have not done terrible things and would not want to do those terrible things or ever consider those terrible things. Sure. And I know others who are not. Like I think that it's not.
And I know dirtbags.
I know a lot of dirtbags, and I think that it just breaks down to who you are as a person. Yeah. Like. Yeah, sure. So I not only do I want to see, women and people of color and people of different orientation or like any other type of diversity, like up at the top. Sure. Like in those roles of power or influencing things. Like think about most television writers' rooms. They're mostly white and male. Yeah. It's very difficult to get. It's very difficult for a woman, there's one woman in the writer's room, and it's a specific joke that it applies to women. How is she going to convey that and pitch it past this board of, 5 other dudes? Sure. They're not going to be able to relate to it, and that's been the problem for so long. And the more diversity that we can get in all realms of life, the better it will be because we'll have more of those viewpoints.
Awesome. Yeah. For sure.
That's just my thoughts on it,
Yeah, no, they're great thoughts. So do you have we did superhero. Do you have do you have a personal hero as far as when it comes to doing writing, acting, improv? Is there anybody who stands out who's influenced you in keeping up the struggle?
You mean all the hours I work every week just to get to where I need to go with this stuff?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Who do you look to and say, well, they did it and maybe I can do it too,
I really loved Tina Fey, and Gilda Radner. Sure. And I was always a big fan of Mel Brooks as a kid. Yeah. A huge Mel Brooks fan, and he always had very strong female characters in those movies. Sure. They were sometimes they played a nymph-like character who was a little aloof. Right. But Madeline Kahn in Blazing Saddles is amazing. Like, she's amazing.
Yeah.
And, like, you expect her to play this dumb little,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
floozy. And, like, it's hilarious what she does the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, she was phenomenal. Tina Fey.
Yeah.
Tina Fey for forever.
Yeah.
And also, like, in addition, like, I think that there's, like, a line that people will sit on. I think that either they really love Tina Fey.
Sure.
Or they really love Amy Poehler.
Oh, all right.
Like, I think that everybody does, like, have, like, their one favorite of the two. Mine is Tina.
Okay.
I really love Amy Poehler, and I really love Kate McKinnon.
Okay, wait, which one's Kate McKinnon?
Kate McKinnon.
Yeah.
She's on Saturday Night Live currently. She was
Okay.
in the Ghostbusters movie. Oh my gosh, she's in, like, so many things.
I saw the Ghostbusters. Which one did she play in the Ghostbusters?
She was the one with the glasses and the blonde hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And she is a phenomenal sketch performer.
Yeah.
She did some sketch work on, oh my god, it might have even been Logo at the time. Like, she was on this one sketch show before doing Saturday Night Live. She's just really just a great character actress and just super funny and she can do pretty much anything in my mind. And on top of that, like, I really like, oh man, there's so many right now that I'm like, but like growing up, it was like Gilda Radner and Tina Fey. And like the thing was, like, even in high school, like, yeah, I was fatter than Tina Fey, obviously. And like, but like I had glasses like Tina Fey and my hair was always dark brown. So it was like, I was like, this is what I'm modeling this after.
Sure. Well, plus she's from Pennsylvania.
She is from Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Yes, she's from like
the
more
wrong side of Pennsylvania, but she's still from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, she is. So I mean, like, it was always like that thing. It's like kind of that little bit of an infatuation with her. And then after reading her book, it's, you know, it just like solidified it. It's like
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're the kind of person that I want to.
Oh, that I want to be. She's super impressive. Which do you like more, 30 Rock or SNL?
I'm an SNL fan. I've been an SNL fan because I very much enjoy sketch.
Awesome.
I like sketch because sketch can be redeeming. The same way that improv is redeeming, and the same way that stand-up can be redeeming. Like, in that, like, once you do your thing. Yeah. Like with improv, especially with short form, it's like, well, once you play your game or once you do your sketch or once you do that bit, if it doesn't work out, you can move on to the next thing. Sure. Stand up a little bit less because you're still that same person, which in some cases for some people does not bode well for them. But like if you're talking, but you can move that, you can change it. Sure. And you can, like, if something just really just like eats a dick on and is terrible and it's just not funny. Yeah. It's okay, clean slate. Right. Like, you know, whatever it's called, tabula blanca or whatever. Yeah. Whatever it is. That's what you have for the next thing, which is really cool. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Who's your comedy? Who's your big comedy influence? Cause, and since you gendered it for me, because like,
did I gender it for you?
You did gender it for me because you said what women.
Oh, okay.
Because I also like steered towards Mel Brooks. Yeah. Also Andy Kaufman because I really just like Andy Kaufman. He's a lot I'm a big wrestling fan, so like Andy Kaufman was there in the early part too. Yeah. So what about you? What's your
women or
stand up?
Just stand up.
What's your comedy influence that gets you out there all the time?
Oh, Louis C.K. for sure. Louis C.K.? Because when I was a kid, I liked the idea of doing stand up, but like the number one guy I would go to for inspiration was Seinfeld, and it was like it was too clean, and I just didn't think I could do anything like it. And then when I finally, I mean, I was about 30 the first time I saw Louis C.K., and I was like, you know, I mean, I'm sure there's more to it than I'm noticing, but I mean, I feel like there's something in there that I could probably pull off, you know?
Yeah, see, I was a big fan of Seinfeld whenever I was younger, because I grew up like just kind of at like the right time for me to get into it.
Yeah, I mean, he was super popular in the 90s.
Yeah. But now this is my question to you, too.
All right.
Can you, and it's a terrible question.
Okay, I love terrible.
It's an awful question. I hate this question.
Okay, what's the question?
Can you separate the art from the artist?
No, absolutely not. It's like, can you separate the oil from the mayonnaise? It's just, no, you can't. Of course you can't.
So how do you feel about Louis C.K. after all the other revelations about him?
All right. We're talking about his personal life?
Yeah.
All right.
But we're talking about the terrible shit that he did.
Well, the terrible. Okay, but this
Like,
is. I either I don't have enough information or something is because what I heard was that he was with a woman and it got very private and personal, and he was like, he asked for, as far as I understood, he asked for consent before he masturbated in front of a person. Is that not true? I mean, I don't know. I mean, if there was consent, then I just feel he's a weird guy sexually and he did nothing wrong. If there wasn't consent, then all right, then he's a weird monster. That he's still funny. I don't know what to do with that information. I don't know how to process that. Like, I'm still going to think that he's funny, and I'm still going to
So let's take it to a less personal.
Oh, all right.
Because you made reference to
well,
this.
no, because my other favorite is I wrestle with is Woody Allen. I love Woody Allen. I love what he does. Yeah, and he's this horrible incident with his stepdaughter in the 90s, and it's just like, well, how do you reconcile that? I don't reconcile it. I don't know what to do about it. They're still heroes. So I don't know what to do.
you're able to you mentally can separate the person from the art.
I mean, I guess I only really know the art. I don't know them personally. So
Okay.
I mean, I can't just be like, oh well, I don't like that TV show anymore. It's not on Netflix anymore. So I don't.
It's like I'm not gonna support this artist and buy tickets to their shows or buy tickets to their movies.
I guess
because of these crimes they committed.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not paying for any of their stuff anyway because I'm dead ass broke. If it's not on Netflix, I'm not seeing it.
Well, you're paying for Netflix.
Well, I'm supposed to boycott Netflix. They took it off they took his stuff off. I don't know. I don't know how to reconcile it. I don't know.
It's. I understand that it's a difficult thing for a lot of people to reconcile.
Yeah.
I can understand how it's difficult for people to reconcile it.
Sure.
But at the same time, I mean, I know a lot of people who've done terrible shit, and it's like, I don't want to be associated with that in any way, shape, or form, so I don't.
Right.
So that makes it, easier in that one kind of a way.
Yeah.
But that's more of like a personal level as opposed to an artistic level whenever it comes to those things. Like the artistic level, it's like in Louis C.K.'s case, he would speak, like he would talk about it on stage, but there was I think this is the overarching problem with it, is that there had been rumor for years about what he had done.
Yeah.
But the problem is that whenever there's a rumor about what somebody does, and it's a he said, she said situation.
Sure.
That the harm in that situation always befalls the woman in a way, and that harm isn't of disbelief, not believing her. It's disbelief.
Sure.
Usually, in addition to other things, look at Harvey Weinstein. How many actresses did he blackball?
Right.
How many? We know of some, but think about the ones who never even got to that echelon, and were
Yeah.
something happened. There's a lot to it. It just really sucks. It sucks that we have to there are always going to be monsters. There's always going to be bad people out there.
Sure.
That is something that has existed forever. That's what fables are based upon, are those monsters. Those monsters are real.
Yeah.
But we just don't like to necessarily see them in our own form.
Right.
So.
Right. For sure.
It's kind of interesting.
All right. Do you have any upcoming shows?
Let's see. I'm at Hambones at 10 o'clock on July 14th. Doing stand-up.
What's that show called?
It's the Sit Down and Laugh. I'm on that show.
Awesome.
And then I'm doing the World Series of Comedy out at Slapsticks Comedy Club on the Wednesday the 26th.
Awesome.
I think the 26th is a Wednesday, whatever Wednesday falls in that week. I also week after that, I'm in Milwaukee for the Milwaukee Comedy Festival.
Nice.
And then improv-wise, I have a show with Game Shark at Arcade Comedy Theater on Sunday the 8th at 7 p.m. And then whatever Thursday follows after that World Series of Comedy show that day, I have another show with Game Shark at 8 at Arcade that night. So
Awesome. So July's a busy month for you.
July is super busy for me because I also
That's fantastic.
Yeah, because I'm also doing some marketing stuff with the Pittsburgh Comedy Festival as well this year.
All right.
Doing their PR and things like that. So working on good stuff with them. I do my work at Arcade Comedy Theater as well, and then I do comedy, and I'm everywhere.
That's great. And where can we find you? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Facebook is facebook.com/Amanda Averell Comedy. Twitter is @Amanda Averell, same as Instagram, @Amanda Averell. YouTube, youtube.com/Amanda Averell.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. I think. What's up?
Oh, no, nothing. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for coming. I think we polished this one up quite nicely and got into some interesting territory.
Yeah.
So you're listening to Scotty Presents. I'm your host, Scott Israel. We got Todd DeFazio as our producer, and today's special guest was Amanda Averell. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you, Scott.
Killed.